Hey everybody, Nike here. I was actually working on two totally different videos, and then the balance team had to go and make a forum post that caused me to full stop each of them and then make this video. If you're out of the loop, Carl McLean, who's on the balance team, mentioned in a post that, among other things, Regeneration was going to change its priority system, and most people have read into that to mean that the person with the highest healing power or even the highest tick are going to get their regen to win. To say that this is a hugely important change is a pretty big understatement, and this is going to have some rather large repercussions for different builds and professions. And while I couldn't possibly address or predict everything that this change will do, I would like to touch on a few things that are immediately obvious. First up, this will make Water Spirit really good. Running a single Water Spirit will be enough for a single Harrier Druid to give regen to the entire raid that will never be overwritten. As a result, the Druid will be much less reliant on staff to fill its CA, as it will be getting regen procs from 10 players, even when on its Axe Horn set. Related to that, the Warhorn trait becomes much less mandatory, as you won't need it anymore for regen. This means that you can bring the AoE Vigor trait and apply a boon that much more consistently gives your Chronos the ability to share Vigor, and another 2% damage buff for those Arcane Weavers out there. Also, thanks to the Water Spirit change, the second healer in your group really doesn't have to worry about regen anymore at all. That opens the door for pugs that usually bring two druids to run a Healing Tempest or a Healing Renegade. Each of those brings some additional utility to the group above and beyond what a redundant second druid does. Either of these would be a huge upgrade for most pugs. On the other hand, it would allow the second healer to be more DPS oriented, like a Condi Druid or support Condi Renegade, because the regen from the Harrier Druid would cover for that off healer's lack of heals somewhat. So at either end of the pug quality spectrum, the ones that use two healers or the ones that can get away with a DPS healer, both groups would be improved by this change. For organized groups that run a single, perhaps Nature Magic Condi Druid for some bosses and no other healer, the Water Spirit will allow for very quick CA refilling, which will allow them to maximize their might uptime and keep their rotation very fluid. But let's ignore Druid for the moment and look at some of the other healers or support specs and how this impacts them. The big loser in all this seems to be Minstrel Chrono. Minstrel Chrono will only have a big benefit in groups with DPS hybrid healers, like a Condi Druid or a Condi Renegade. Any of the pure heal specs will overwrite their regen with better regen, and really, if a Minstrel Chrono loses its regen capability, it kind of greatly reduces the capability of the whole build and the whole reason for running it. Healing Tempest has always kind of been about the power of Soothing Mist and consistent strong water auto heals. The ability to now stack regen is pretty strong though. Its regen should beat out the Harrier Druid due to similar modifiers and the higher healing power from the Ellie running Magi gear. This allows the Druid in groups with Heal Tempest to bring a different heal other than Water Spirit. But more or less, this really doesn't change what's really good about the Healing Tempest. And lastly, pure Healing Revenant gains quite a bit. Revenant has the highest potential regen tick in the game. This means that at a fight like Deimos, where you already take a Herald healer to kite the hands, you can toss the tablet onto your DPS stack for a bit and spread around ridiculously powerful 800 per second regen ticks, along with some bonus alacrity, which is always good. Even as an alternative pure healer in a group, ensuring that your Uber regen always hits your group drastically increases the value of a Revenant healer, let alone the benefit you get in terms of alacrity uptime. So all in all, if this balance patch had nothing else in it besides the regen change, that alone would be huge. But I do suspect we're going to have a lot more in store in this patch. The regen change has me pretty hyped for the patch, and I really can't wait to see what people come up with. But that's basically it. I wanted to get the word out, and thank you guys for watching, and I very much appreciate it. Hopefully you guys have a great day, and I will see you next time.